quota is a very complex thing. And I always get the question, what about quotas? While there are so many other ways to do things. Unfortunately, how organizations are now constructed and how we do things is that they need an external push. I've not met a lot of companies that started to work on this topic without an external push. And so quotas are a necessary evil, I would say, to get things done. So that's how I see it. And it's because the research also shown it's a mixed result. It's a mixed result because on the one hand, again, you're hiring people into a system that's not ready for them.
Mm-hmm.
You can also give a signal of that confirms the stereotypes of they can only get here when we push them. Otherwise, they don't have the capabilities to get there. That's the whole meritocracy discussion of, but are we sure that we are not lowering the standards? Are we just hire the best person for that position? Unfortunately, that's also not true. Most of the time, you hire the person who looks like you to get into that position. Because
isn't there even research done that in the first interview you give each other a handshake, and basically the rest of the interview is you're asking questions to get confirmation on your first feeling, instinct.
Yeah, absolutely. So most of the time, and it even goes before, it's already just checking the name.
Yeah.
That you say, okay, oh, I recognize that name. It's something familiar. And then you shake hands, you see the person, and immediately you say, oh, there's someone I can trust, without any conversation happening.
Yeah, and it's probably how we are wired. I mean, that's something probably some intelligence that we used to need to survive.
Yes. I think when our ancestors, when the Homo sapiens was still roaming, and they were encountering another tribe, it was very important for them to know immediately, is this someone that we can trust or not? Because they were still fighting a lot between each other. So at the moment, so our brain became wired to see differences and to attach to that difference, trust, yes or no. So it means that we need to actively rewire our brain to make sure that that system is being fed with more trust signals. And it's a difficult thing because when we read the media, what we see all the time, we get the signals of, I'm going to be very honest, someone with a person of color you can't trust because they do crimes, because that's how they are being portrayed, which is not true. We don't see the positive examples. So it is also a message that we need to work more on positive examples so we can rewire the brain. For instance, also in the movies, the bad guy or the bad woman, most of the time it's a bad guy, so that's already also something. They have scars, or they have wounds. And the hero, well, that person has nothing. Still although they do the same fights, it's a bad guy who has all those scars. And so when you see someone with a scar, you will immediately think, I don't trust that person. So
and
that's
very, very, very clear and interesting that it even goes into well, it sounds to me like even the details in movies, not just the obvious thing like the hero is always a man or whatever, but even scars on the face. Yeah.